My friends, I would like to share with you a very profound experience that I had. Um, this was a time where I really, in my life, had begun to want God, want Jesus Christ a lot in my life. I was looking forward to it after a hard day's work. I didn't want anything else. I didn't watch television. I had no TV at the time. I don't have one now, but at that time I had the opportunity to have a TV, but I didn't really want anything like that. So I remember that I had made certain decisions in my life back then to really press into the kingdom of God. So I had been praying every night. I began to pray every night, and I received such peace from God, when I prayed. So one day I came home from work, a very hard days of work, a hard day of work, and my job entailed a lot of heavy lifting. You see, so I came home. And I ended up on the dining table sitting down just to take a load off, And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, can you show yourself to me? And it's something to this effect, a very simple request. I asked God to reveal himself and to show me, about his righteousness and who he was. And I fell asleep, I fell asleep on the dining table. And a very deep sleep came over me, and I received a dream of vision, and in this vision I was running. I was running in a very cold place, very cold and eerie, ominous place. There were very big trees all around me. Darkness, you see, and I could. The terrain was very treacherous. There were like holes and ditches all over, and I was running very fast. You see, hills. There were small hills, and it was not a straight path. It was a very difficult path. You see, and I could hear the sound of my feet thudding as I ran. I could hear the inhale and exhale. And I could see the breath exuding from my mouth and my nostrils, because it was very, very cold and very dark. And I looked into the distance, and in the distance I saw a glow. And immediately when I saw this glow, my whole spirit was attracted, and I began to run towards this glow. It seemed it seemed this darkness was unending. There was all these trees. It was like I was in a forest, you see. And as I began to run towards this, like in the movies, you see when the helicopter enters into a valley, you see how the trees part. Now, except I was running. And as I ran, the trees began to part, and I entered into this like valley, you see. And in the valley I could see this fire in the distance was glowing, and I wanted to be next to this fire. And as I began to run closer and closer towards this fire, a peace started coming on me. And I cannot explain this peace, because the more it came on me, the more I wanted to draw closer to it. You see, and I kept running towards it, and this peace kept increasing and increasing and increasing. The more I wanted, the more I received. The more I wanted, the more I received. The more I wanted, the more I received. You see, and it kept increasing like this to fulfill an eternal desire for more. You see, and it was fulfilled. And when I came and I stood next to this fire, and this fire became huge. You see, and I just wanted, my friends, I just wanted to be next to this fire for the rest of my life and for eternity. I don't want to leave. I wanted to be there forever. That's all I wanted. I never wanted to go anywhere else. You see, and I stood next to this fire. My friends, and as I stood next to this fire, a very, very small, humble voice spoke to me and said, "Sonny, what about the others?" And immediately I realized I had to leave this and go back into that cold place, you see, which is the world. And you know, I so many things I began to realize that, man, I'm standing next to this fire, I'm not getting burnt, you know, a lot of things. And at the end of it, I realized, you know, as much as I wanted to be there, that I had to leave. You know, I had to leave this presence. So I said, "But Lord, how do I take this fire to other people?" You see? And there was a pause, there was a silence. And I could hear in the midst of this glory and this presence, I could hear the sound of the fire burning. And this soft voice spoke to me and said, "Sonny, bring them to the fire." You see, my friends, this is what it is. We bring people to the presence of God, to the Spirit of God. You see, it's not our job to carry the fire. We cannot. We're gonna be burnt. We're gonna be destroyed because we don't have what it takes. I made certain decisions in my life at that point where I became more fervent with Jesus Christ, and He saw that and gave me something I completely did not deserve, and He gave me the mercy to enter into His presence. So it's a combination of the things that you decide from the bottom of your heart, from the depth of your heart, and His mercy, because none of us can enter in on our own strength. You see, you'll be destroyed. So you see, my friends, if this is possible with me, then it's possible with anybody. You see, and when you taste of these things, your view of the world and the things of the world and the successes that the world calls success, my friends, it becomes useless. It becomes absolutely rubbish and trash. See, because you have received of something that is eternal. See, God moves, my friends. He speaks to His people. Many people will say, "Well, how do you know?" My friends, the only way you can know, if I know, is if you know. And the way you know is by your own relationship with Jesus Christ. By you entering into His presence. You see? So you begin to live, you begin to go in, one leaves that fire. You never really leave the fire. That's what it is. But the intimacy of that kind of revelation and of the moment, you leave it in order to go back, and next time you come, two of you. You see, then two leave, then next time you come, four of you. Then four go, then they bring more than, 9. The 9 go, 2 get lost, and the others come back. You see what I'm trying to say? This is how the kingdom of God grows, my friends. God cares about everybody. This is the difference with human beings and God. Human love, it's very finite. It's very temporary. It's selfish. You see, you just care about your family and yourself. You see, and a few others. God cares about everybody and everything. You see? You see why nations fight? Oh, my ancestors, my land, my family. You see, but you forgot to care about other people and other people's family. You see, and exalted yourself above them. So you decided to fight because you're finite, you're temporary. You see, God didn't forget, because God is eternal and God cares about everybody. But in order to enter God's presence, my friend, there are certain things that you have to do. You have to prepare your heart and the issues of your heart. You see? Expose yourself, your flesh, and be corrected by the Spirit of God. Spend time with Him. That's the most important thing. From a true heart. See, my friends, and you will enter into things that you cannot imagine, and receive of things that are even more unimaginable from your God. See, my friends, because God is merciful, but at the same time, God is also terrifying. See? So we must go to Him when we have time, when the time is still here, and receive of Him. We must receive from Him.